السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم آمين. أما بعد, I hope all of you are doing well. Welcome to another morning of a fun day of Arabic, day 6. Um, Alhamdulillah, we're more than halfway done now with our last intensive. So hope you guys are excited for what's to come, inshallah. Um, so in regards to the workbook that I linked you all yesterday, please check that again. I've added some changes to all the assignments, added some variety to them, inshallah. So I said yesterday that don't print them yet. If you did, then I'm sorry you didn't get that message, but the version that's uploaded now is the version that we're gonna stick with, inshallah. Let me show it actually here for you guys. Sorry, it's not this one. It's the one I'm about to pull up. Here we go, recognition workbook. So this is the one that we're going to be working out of, inshallah. So I just added variation into each assignment. Otherwise, it's nearly the same. But now, for those of you who want to print it, you can. If not, then just following along with everybody, following along with the Ustad on the video should be fine as well. But he is going to be, or the original plan was whatever we don't cover in class for whichever topic we're on that day will be homework. The last 3 pages are the same. They should the assignments in the bonus section. Let me just show you guys. This section here was unchanged. All I did was I added space for you guys to write your answers. I did change this section here. I changed the example because aslama doesn't actually have a passive, so I chose a word that had a passive. This I think this one was unchanged as well. But yeah, everything from here up was changed to have more variation. Turn YouTube comments on. You can't see anything. I think, well, if you can't see anything, then that's on your side because I'm looking at the stream now and I can see everything fine. The key's not up yet. I still have to make that. But the article that Ustad Numan talked about, he just sent it to me this morning, and I need to get into. I haven't been able to email it out because I don't have access to the whole email list. Which pages did I change? For if you want to print it, then print everything under past and past passive and present passive. The rest should be unchanged. Oh, actually, um, I did make changes here as well. Okay, print everything up to and including page 6. The only thing I changed in this section, the ism fa'il and ism maf'ul section, was I added something to the instructions. So if you just look at the instructions here, you'll still be able to do it fine. The examples didn't change at all. And then the last section, masdar and dharf didn't change at all either. So it's the first 3 sections sections changed. The document is titled Recognition Workbook. The transcript of the 6 families. So there's 2 different transcripts. There's under day 1 of intensive 4. No, yeah, it is. Under day 1 of intensive 4, there's this document, full sarf breakdown, and that's the one we created on the first couple days. It has the 8 families on the first page and then the 6 on the second page. Then there's this other, under day 1 of intensive 3, there's this document called sarf families, and this one has a clearer breakdown, 1 family per page. I'll take a look at the comments after this video, inshallah. But it's noted. So can you show how the command was made for the 6 small families? Okay, I can run through that. Okay, we'll just do one at a time, inshallah. Nasara yansuru. So we're always going to start with making the word, the present tense, lightest. So yansuru becomes yansur. We take off the beginning letter, and then if it starts with sukoon, which all of the small families will, we add the helper alif at the beginning. Oops, at the end, at the beginning. And then we look at the ain letter to see which vowel it has. If it's dhamma, then we put a dhamma on the helper alif. Otherwise, we put a kasra. In this case, we're going to put a dhamma. So that's how we get yansuru to unsur. And then, actually, let me have them both written so you guys can see. Yansuru becomes unsur. And then yaftahu, likewise, we're going to do a similar process. First, we make it lightest, yaftah, take off the first letter, and if it's with sukoon, we add the helper alif, and this time we look, there's no dhamma, so we put a kasra on the helper alif. So yaftahu becomes iftah, iftah. The next one, yadribu, make it lightest, take off the ya, replace with an alif, then we look for a dhamma, no dhamma, so we put a kasra. Yadribu becomes idrib, idrib. Don't worry, I will zoom in. I'm just trying to get them all to fit on the same page. Okay. The next one. Sami'a yasma'u. Make it lightest. Take off the ya. Place it with an alif. Look for a dhamma. There's no dhamma, so we put a kasra. Yasma'u becomes isma'. Yahsibu. Make it lightest. Take off the ya. Place it with an alif. There's no dhamma, so we put a kasra on the alif again. Yahsibu becomes ihsib. And the last one is yakrumu. First make it lightest. Take off the ya. We look for a dhamma. There is a dhamma, so we put a dhamma on the helper alif. So yakrumu becomes ukrum. Ukrum. I hope this process is clear for all of these. If there are any questions, feel free to let me know. So Sadaf, excuse me. Once you see once you see a small family fi'l and you know its past and you know its present tense, what they both look like, then you all you have to do is you have to match it up. So ja'ala yaj'alu, for example, ja'ala fatha on the past and yaj'alu fatha on the present. So which of these six has a fatha on both of them? Does nasara yansuru? No, it doesn't. Does fataha yaftahu? Yes, it does. So ja'ala yaj'alu is going to match with fataha yaftahu. And then from there, you can do pretty much the whole chart. The only thing you would be missing is the masdar, which you would have to look up in a dictionary. Same thing for khalaqa yakhluqu. Khalaqa with fatha, yakhluqu with dhamma. So again, go through, see which one it matches with. Does nasara have a fatha in the past and then yansuru with a dhamma in the present? Yes, it does. So khalaqa yakhluqu will match with nasara yansuru. And then again, you would have to look up the masdar, but you can from there you can do everything else on the sarf, um, just from those two. The only difference on the command of aslama is that we'll always put a hamza fatha at the beginning. Why do we do that? Uh, Beats me. That's what the Arabs decided. I guess they decided because there's a hamza fatha as the defining feature of the family. They wanted to keep that for the command too. But aside from that, the Arabs just decided it, so that's what we go with. Sumaya, whether they start with ya or ta before you convert it into a a command doesn't matter because the command's going to look the same either way because I'm taking that first letter off anyways. The reason Ustad kept saying to start it with ta is because it's the concept that you need to understand. The concept is that you can only command you, right? I can't command them. They're not here with me. I can't command myself, so I can only command the forms that start with ta. Tansuru, tansurani, tansuruna, tansurina, tansurani, and tansurna. Those are the only ones that I can command because somebody who's right in front of me, who I can say you to, uh, sorry, let me start that sentence again. Somebody needs to be right in front of me for me to command them. If I'm telling somebody, "Hey, hit him," I can't command them if they're not there with me. Does that make sense? So we can't command third person, which is all the ones that start with ya, and then also she, tansuru, and both of them, tansurani. So yansuru, yansurani, yansuruna, tansuru, tansurani, and yansurna, we can't command them anyway. Ansuru, ana ansuru, and nahnu nansuru, we can't command those either. You can't command yourself. You can only command tansuru, tansurani, tansuruna, tansurina, tansurani, and tansurna. So once you understand that concept, then you don't have to make sure it's starting with ta before you convert it. Because once you convert it, the ya or the ta or whatever was at the beginning is going to disappear anyway. I hope that makes sense. So it's the concept of you can only command second person that you need to understand. We went, both myself and Ustad went into Alif and Hamza yesterday in detail. I did it in the review session and then Ustad did it at the beginning of the class. So Ghulam, if you want an explanation on that, then go back to those. I'd rather not spend more time explaining it because we already have two in-depth explanations for that. I did not send an email. Um, so if somebody is saying that, then maybe they got a personal email for a question they sent or something, but I didn't send a general email out for everybody. Sophia, can you explain the masdar of the Nasara family? Why is there a ta marbuta at the end? The masdar takes different forms. It's going to be unique every time. You have to look it up. So it can have a ta marbuta, it can have an alif maqsura, it can have alif mamduda, it can have different things. You don't know what to expect in the masdar. Um, so it's not that easy, uh, Noor Hayati. It's not that easy for me to just post something onto study materials. I don't have direct access to that. I have to send it in to somebody and then they have to post it. So it takes like a full day to get something posted. That's why. What is the family of Kadhibun? Okay, sorry, I got distracted for a second. So in the past tense, we have kadhaba with a fatha on the dal. In the present tense, we have yakdhibu, sorry, yakdhibu with a kasra on the dal. Kadhaba yakdhibu. So now we go through and we see which one it matches with. Nasara yansuru is fatha dhamma, and that doesn't match. Fataha yaftahu is fatha fatha, still doesn't match. Daraba yadribu is fatha kasra. And kadhaba yakdhibu is also fatha kasra. So kadhaba yakdhibu fits um, into the daraba yadribu family. Is my sound too low? I feel like my sound's all right. Nura, both of them are masdars. Just go with the masdar that's included on the chart. No, Ustad didn't post a link. I'm not explaining qila. That's irregular. That's weird sarf, and we're not doing weird sarf. We're doing regular sarf right now. So make sure you know regular sarf, because once you get to weird sarf, you're going to you're gonna wish that we were doing regular sarf. Do we go through? That's what Ustad said. That we'd go through the 1 and 2 review exam tomorrow in class. Is there a chart for command? There is a chart for command, but it's only 6 words because it's only second person. So um, it's just the same process we did for making a command. You would do that for all of the second person words. So I'll go through one of them. Tansuru becomes unsur. Tansurani becomes unsura. Tansuruna becomes unsuru. Tansurina becomes unsuri. Tansurani becomes unsura. And tansurna becomes unsurna. So unsur, unsura, unsuru, unsuri, unsura, unsurna. That's what it is. Can past tense be light? No, it cannot. Sumaya, what I mean when I say the Aslama family doesn't have a passive is that it's not that the Aslama family doesn't have a passive. It's that the word Aslama doesn't have a passive meaning because it's intransitive. Aslama means if you yourself submit. There's two different words. There's to submit something, like I can submit a test to a teacher. And then there's me, myself, I am submitting. So I can't submit myself with in a passive form. It's intransitive. Aslama means you yourself submit. You can't do that passively. So the word aslama does not have a passive. The family of aslama can have a passive. In sarafa, if you see in at the beginning, that is a telltale sign that it belongs to the in qalaba family. No, I'm not going to explain alif hamza and alif again. That's yesterday's review session and yesterday's class at the beginning. It's there if you want to check it out, inshallah. So, Sahra, for words that are intransitive, sure, when you're doing the sarf of them, you can do the chart for, you can do the passive form. We can say us, sorry, uh, uslima and yuslamu. We can say that and muslamun, but those words don't exist. We can say it just for the practice, but the words don't exist. Now, I can do a different word like anfaqa, which means to spend, right? Anfaqa means to spend. And it's also aslama family. I can spend something and something can be spent. So for that word, it has a passive. So uh, unfiqa and yunfaqu, those words do exist. But uslima and yuslamu, the words don't exist. Shasta, I already explained, I already showed where to find that. Just to rewind the video, inshallah. Samia, if you didn't understand something about the concept, then ask whatever the specific question is for what you didn't understand, because explaining the whole concept again wouldn't be beneficial to you. Sure, Muhammad. A transitive, a transitive word makes sense when you can do it to someone or something. So, yansuru, for example, yansuru means he helps. Can you help someone? Yes, you can. Can you help something? Yes, you can. So, yansuru is transitive. But if we take the word yakrumu, for example, yakrumu means he is honorable. He is honorable. That's what yakrumu means. Can you can he is honorable somebody else? Can he is honorable something else? No, that doesn't make any sense. So yakrumu is intransitive. That's why karuma yakrumu, that family, does not have a passive form because the words that go into that family will be intransitive. So transitive, you can do the action to something else, and that therefore you can also have a passive form. If something can be, if I can help something, that means something can be helped. But if I can't be honorable something, so that means that something, I don't even know how to say it passively. It just doesn't exist. Muhammad Shafiq, I hope that was clear. A word can't be both transitive and intransitive. Those are contradictory terms. If you're talking about if you look it up in the dictionary and it has two different meanings and one of the meanings is intransitive, then it would depend on context. Maha, if you want to know about La in La Rasuluhu, then look at the Surah Munafiqun document on the website. There's a in-depth explanation there. It was submitted would use a different word. It wouldn't use aslama. Samia, yes. All of the words in the inqalaba family will be intransitive. Which family does anfiqu belong to? That's a command of the aslama family. Yes, Shireen. We actually get the word Kareem from this family. If you remember, it's karuma, yakrumu, karamatan, fahuwa karimun. And akram also comes from the same root. Yep. Qul is a qala yaqulu is a weird sort of word. The name of the document, if you're looking for the Surah Munafiqun document, it's called it's under intensive for day 1. It's called Applying Our Knowledge to Surah Munafiqun, and it's right now it's just the document for ayah 1. Yes, you could say that Amir, Muallam and Muta'allim could mean the same thing. Shahid, the command in the Aslama family will also have a kasra. Aslim, right? Aisha, so in English, things are difficult to understand because English has a lot of words that have multiple meanings. So when I'm saying hitting, I'm not talking about the verb hitting. I'm talking about the idea of hitting. So, like for example, I could say, uh, hitting somebody is a bad thing. Hitting is a bad thing. I'm not saying that's not a verb. I'm not using it as a verb, right? I'm saying the idea of hitting, that is a bad thing. You could also say to hit. Yeah, that could work too. It's the same. They mean the same thing. I don't know, Shireen. I'd have to look at it. Can I go over these sections of intensive 1 and 2 review exam? Sure, I can explain them real quick. Okay. So section 1, simple. Whatever word is highlighted, you need to give the 4 properties to the best of your ability with the context that you're given. So number 1 is rasulu, number 2 is aymana, number 3 is him, number 4 is who, 5 is al-aduwu, 6 is al-munafiqina, 7 is musannadatun, 8 is um, okay, I'm just going to read the whole word. Walil mu'minin, and 9 is al-qawma. Actually, I'll read the word for 8. The word for 8 is al-mu'minin. Second is to identify the fragments in each example. So there could be one, there could be many, but there's going to be at least one. So innaka an sabilillah wa li rasulihi la rasuluhu al-qawm al-fasiqina ولكن المنافقين ذلك بأنهم كل صيحة and من الصالحين are the examples. Section 3 is finding the invisible is. So just for each example, look through and put an is or put some kind of sign like in these spaces. I made the spaces big on purpose so you could easily put like a marker where you think the invisible is will be. So إن المنافقين لكاذبون والله خبير بما تعملون إنهم ساء ما كانوا يعملون فأولئك هم الخاسرون ذلك بأنهم آمنوا ولله العزة. These are your examples. And then in the last section, determine whether the following fi'l is in past tense or future tense. I know it says future, it should be present. And what the doer is. So I've highlighted fi'ls in each example, and you need to tell, okay, is this fi'l past tense or is this fi'l present tense? And then once you have that, you need to, if it's an inside doer, you need to tell which pronoun it is. If it's an outside doer, then you need to tell which word is the outside doer. So the examples are إذا جاءك المنافقون تعجبك أجسامهم نشهد إنك لرسول الله يحسبون كل صيحة عليهم اتخذوا أيمانهم جنة and قاتلهم الله. Is that clear or any questions on that? Samia, I can't answer your question because then I would be giving a hint, and I don't want to give a hint. I will say in the invisible is section, there can only be one per example. What to do with the doer? What do you mean what to do with the doer? You just need to identify it. Say what it is. The answer is in the ans. Did I put up an answer key for this? Oh, I did put up an answer key. Huh. Okay, the answers in the answer key should be correct. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Um, I mean, I might be biased, but they look correct to me. A Pi student learner, that's fine. That's how it's supposed to be. That's why we're not asking you to translate. We're just asking you to identify things. No, the exam is not being reviewed. I was just going over instructions for the exam because there were some questions. I still don't trust the answer key. I made the answer key this time. The answer key that had a lot of mistakes that you guys were looking at, that was old material. This is new stuff that like I'm making for the classes. So there might be a mistake here and there. Like I wrote future instead of present, but I did my best to make sure that that it's all correct. We should be going over the exam tomorrow, inshallah, if I remember to remind Ustad, or if he remembers to go over it, or if you guys remind him. One of those three needs to happen. Please explain number 2 and 9. I'm not going to explain anything about the test, just the instructions. So, for some of you are asking about the workbook. There are two different workbooks. There's the day 1 through 5 workbook, which is focused on getting you guys to understand each of the different concepts, each of the different pots basically inside of a family. So, for example, making sure you can identify the past tense, then making sure you can identify a present tense, then making sure you can identify the masdar, and so on. And all of this is only for the Aslama family. It's focused on the Aslama family in the days 1 through 5 workbook. In the recognition workbook, there's more variety. I use all of the families, and also the pronoun inside the inside doer might change, the gender might change, the plurality might change. So both workbooks are focused on different levels, I guess. Days 1 through 5 is an intro to Sarf, then the recognition is a little bit more intermediate. Gabriella, I'm not explaining the answer because we are not going over the test yet. So I'm not going to explain it before the test is due. A lot of people haven't finished the test yet. That's why. F- uh, fasila, fasila, fasila. Um, and normally I would, but we're looking right at the test, so it would give away answers. What is kulla? Um, Go to page 22 of your intensive one notes, and then you can tell me what kulla is. Fasila. Okay, sorry. Yes, intensive 2 was a review of intensive 1, gone into a little bit more detail. That's correct. How to identify the family from the command. That is going to be a little bit tough, and that's something we'll work on. We have a day we're going to, I think tomorrow, maybe Friday. One of those days is going to be focused on commands and forbidding. There is an audio of the six families on the Dream website. It's called Audio Surf Six Small Families. Let me zoom in so you guys can see. So next time you guys tell me there's no audio, I can laugh at you. Audio Surf Six Small Families. It's right here. It's on video. I have video evidence. Okay, one more question and then I will wrap up for today. Unless nobody has any more questions, then I'll just wrap up. How am I? Allahumma lakal hamd. How are you, Aisha? Yes, sadaf, that will happen, but not if it happens with the big eight families, you shouldn't have a problem. If you're given the masdar to recognize the rest of it, you'll only have a problem if you're given a small family, and that will come with practice. Like now, you should know if you see nusratan, then that comes from nasara yansuru. If you see hisaban, then that comes from hasiba yahsibu. If you see sama'atan or sama'an, that comes from sami'a yasma'u. So as you learn words, you will, um, you know, you'll learn it. As you learn words, you will learn words. Page 22, sitara of the intensive 1 and 2 transcript for kulla. Page 22. Okay, so with that, we will wrap up, and um, the next class will start in the next few minutes, or the actual class will start in the next few minutes. Jazakumullahu khairan, as always, for all of your wonderful questions. Um, I feel like I had something else to say, but I guess it's slipping my mind. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.